here. I'm back. Hello. Hi. How are you? I think my clock in the living room is slow. I had 5 minutes to go. Set up, but I guess not. Frankie's sitting here being good today. This book's going to be good. Are we ready? We're ready to read this book. It's going to be good. I got my water. Hi, Teddy. How are you, Bubba? Got my peppermint. Got my gum if I need it. Heaven forbid. Ori! Yes, I did. Right after I got the phone with you girls yesterday. It got on my nerves. I went in there and I took my clippers and I went shoom, 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 shoom. My rings fit again. I don't know. I just need to get that red off, or pink, or purple, or whatever color it was. It would drive me nuts. I mean, that's a pinky ring. How's my gang doing today? Yeah, doing all right. I'm feeling better. I got a little croupy something going on there, but I'm all right. I'm better. Y'all, this book is good. Sorry, I had another author wishing me hi Autumn, wishing me better. So I don't know. Autumn, I want to apologize. I'm so sorry. I've been so sick. My COVID test came back negative, but I'm just not so sure. I have never had anything knock me under the weather like that did. That was the cough. I'm just now starting to cough, but the head crud wasn't any worse than any kind of sinus matter, which is what I actually thought I had was a sinus problem. But the worst part was I had absolutely no energy. I mean, none. I have never been knocked on my butt like that did. And nothing like my lovely lesbian friends. Gotta love them. But yeah, that just knocked me on my ass. I'm just gonna do this because she's gonna keep going. Frankie, you get to hide it. Oh, in case you can't see, Frankie is my sloth. This is my soulmate, my spirit animal, whatever you want to call it. I read chapter 1 of your book last night, and oh my gosh, this book is awesome. Can't wait. So, I'm sorry. I'm going to have snot. I apologize. That's gross, but it's just there. It's just it. So, let's go ahead and get started. And, oh, let me show you there's that beautiful cover. Yes, I know. That's just my cover, that my screen thing that's cracked, not my book, my tablet. I actually got a new tablet sitting over here. I just haven't set it up yet. That's how bad I felt. It's been over here for a month now, and I haven't felt like it. So, this is actually, is it a 2-box? Is it just going to be 2 parts, or is it 2 books in this series, or are there going to be more? I know that right now, later on in the week, I'm going to be reading the second book. This one's called Apothecary Tea, book 1, and the next one is and it's Drake and Ember. And then the next one is Wicked Spirits, book 2, and it's Parker and Portia. So, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. We'll read. I may read more than an hour. I may read less than an hour, but I'm going to read until I find a good hook. Okay, so y'all just bear with me. And if I go over an hour and you got things to do, then go do your thing and come back and finish it later or whatever. So don't worry about me. I got all day. As long as my voice hangs up. Okay, Drake, chapter 1. This is not the book I should be writing, but inspiration is eluding me. I had a solid idea, a beginning, a plot, but setting my pen to paper has yielded nothing. It's as if my pen refuses to write my thoughts. It's a new feeling, not being able to pour my thoughts out onto the page. I have a hard time doing that. That's the reason I don't write, because I have all these thoughts and ideas. I just can't get them to paper or screen or whatever. After so many weeks, I'm feeling rebellious. Suddenly, I don't want to tell a story to anyone. I don't care what they think or if it inspires them to feel or react. Perhaps after all these years, I've become jaded. I could change my pseudonym again. In the past, it's always given me a fresh start, an excuse to expose a different side of myself. Maybe I should just sit here and write about not being able to write. I take a deep breath and it returns as a heavy sigh. I throw my pen onto the journal and stare out at the large windows of my apartment. The leafless trees are still, and the rain hasn't ceased. The sky's dark gray and a bit of fog lingers in the treetops. I love it like this, dark, wet, and quiet. Maybe some tea would knit my thoughts back together. I should get out of my apartment. I'm not sure I really want to be around people today, but maybe on a cold, stormy Sunday, There won't be many people at the Apothecary Tea House, especially since most of the university students will still be asleep or passed out from Saturday night. I'm willing to take a chance. I plug my earbuds into my ears to help shut out the world. The combination of music and the rain always brings me to a place that feels like an alternate reality. I pull on my trench coat, flip up the collar, and wrap a scarf around my neck before I head out into the rain. There are a few people on the wet streets and hardly any traffic. The cool air begins. It's another thing, my lips chapped up a little bit. The cool air feels good in my lungs, so I breathe in deeply. I truly don't know how to deal with this inability to write. It's like suddenly not being able to speak or walk. I know how to do it, yet I cannot. As I turn the corner onto Franklin Street, I decide to stop thinking about it. It's only making things worse. The song switches to Royal Blood's 10-tone skeleton, and I turn it up until it's throbbing in my ears and let it consume me the rest of the way to the apothecary. When I pull the intricate metal handle, opening the door, a waft of warm, sweet-smelling air washes over me. The smell fills me with comfort. I close my eyes, rain dripping from my coat onto my boots and the hardwood floor. I open my eyes to see a crowd of 20-somethings curled over laptops. They're crowded into corners and huddled in groups. None of them are talking, just clicking and swiping at their phones or laptops. Fuck, I miss books. No one ever has a book. I realized that it's finals weeks at the university. I hadn't realized time had slipped into December. It is yet to snow, and without the trappings of holidays and family, only the weather marks time on the calendar. Now I feel pissed. I never should have left my apartment. Stay or go. Is it even worth it to get in line to order? Rain has soaked my hair, but it's not quite dripping wet. If I go back outside, I'll be soaked by the time I return home. I find myself joining the line instead of lingering in the doorway any longer. Just get my tea and leave. Go home and what? Stare at my empty journal? Pace around my apartment? What can I get you, sir? I stop the music filling my head. Medium black tea with cream and 2 shots of amaretto. I push a tin into her hand. While she's digging my change out of the register, I look around the shop. A small alcove near a stained glass window holds 2 purple velvet chairs with soft, thick cushions. And, as luck would have it, the one facing me is empty. Sir? I turn back to the counter and the girl places my change in my hand. I shove the money into the pocket of my coat and take my cup of tea. I turn my music back on and stop to add some sugar before claiming the last empty seat. The girl sitting across from me has dark auburn hair, the color of dark mallow. Long, shiny waves spill down her breast, stopping it just at their peaks. She has a journal in her lap with another book lying inside it. She is too engrossed in what she's reading to notice me. She's reading an actual book. She must be the only person here not sucked into a screen of some type. I scan the room and it's buzzing with movement. I'm not sure how long I can stand this many people. Still, I unbutton my coat, pull my scarf loose, and try to relax. Sipping my tea, I ease back into the chair. Warmth and comfort flood my chest. The music is still thundering in my ears, and it drowns out everything going on around me except for her. My eyes are drawn to her. I'm not one to stare, but she is so still, so captivated by what is on those pages. It's as if she's a stone surrounded by rushing water in the middle of a stream. I don't know why it's so fascinating. Do students really get so enthralled with their studies? The book she's reading doesn't appear to be a textbook. It's more like a novel, small and thick. She has yet to stop to take notes. Why does she even have the journal? She tips the two books toward her, and my gaze follows from her fingertips, up her arms, to her hair, and around to her face. Her skin is like porcelain with touches of pink. She's wearing jeans and a flannel t shirt, which is unbuttoned halfway down her chest, and a white t shirt peeks out. She doesn't even realize I'm in the room, or on the planet for that matter. I pull the earbuds out of my ears and put them into my pocket, longing to hear her voice. I want to know what she's reading. She's wearing earbuds. She wouldn't hear me if I spoke to her. It is enough to simply watch her. It will at least get me out of my own head about writing. Between the music and watching her, I can't think of a better way to spend my morning. What has her so engrossed? I want to ask her, but I don't have the heart to disturb her. I long to write something that enraptures a reader like this. She flips the page, and it's obvious she's reading at a quick pace. Her feet flex and point as she pushes her knees up as if to bring the book closer to her. Damn! She flips another page, and as I take another sip of tea, a beautiful blush rushes over her flesh. She presses her knees together and bites her lip. Her eyes are still hidden behind beautiful leathery lashes. Her lips part with a small gasp, and I feel as if I have witnessed something I shouldn't. I force myself to look away, but it's only for a moment. I find myself suppressing a grin as I watch her body react so openly to the words, and I wish they were my words. Her lips part a bit more, and her sexy, breathy moan causes an electric pulse to spread through every muscle in my body. Her face softens. She presses her eyes closed, and her knees together. When she opens her eyes, they follow me. She looks like a frightened deer, and I realize I have a cocky grin on my face. Her cobalt blue eyes look right through me as if she suddenly remembers she's not alone in the universe, and her eyes widen in embarrassment. I can't hide the fact that I was watching her, so I don't look away. She glances around, squirming uncomfortably, and I smile. I'm sorry. I mouth silently to her, apologizing for prying into her private moment. She rips out the earbuds and takes a deep, shaky breath. She seems more than surprised. She looks as if she's seen a ghost. I'm sorry. I meant this, I repeat, this time so she can hear me. She blushes all over again. I probably should have looked away and pretended nothing happened. She stammers. She takes in a quick breath and studies me with shock on her face. You, she says, intrigued, then looks around the room as if she's seeking the quickest escape route. Oh no, did I make a noise? Oh no, did I make a noise? She whispers. I decide to be kind. I didn't hear anything. Her face blushes as she sits back against the chair cushions. She closes her eyes and takes a slow, shaky breath. Are you all right? I didn't mean to frighten you. I was just so intrigued by what could possibly hold your attention prisoner to each page. Huh? She sits up straight and snaps the book closed. She slips it under the journal as if trying to hide it. She recovers her cup from the table between us and takes a long drink. I watch the two books slide between her legs slowly as she unpins her knees from each other. So, what were you reading? I'm trying to help her relax, but she blushes again and fumbles to place her cup back on the table. Nothing. She smiles. A book. It's nothing. I grin and find myself leaning closer to her. For class? No, God, no. She almost scoffs. You're not attending the university, studying for a final exam? I am. I mean, no. She shoves the books into her bag as if she can't wait to be rid of them. She searches through the bag. I am a student and I am taking finals, but the book, she pulls out lip balm and slides it over her lips. It's not for class. I was just reading. She drops the lip balm back into her bag and rubs her lips together. The instant action sends a pulse of electricity through my body. For pleasure? My breath. Oh, I was just reading for pleasure. My breath catches in my chest. What the hell? Does she even realize what she's doing? Then it hits me. I lean closer to her, sliding to the edge of my chair. I arch one eyebrow and whisper, I could see that. But what were you reading? She stills and takes in a quick breath through parted lips. I refuse to let this go. It obviously was giving you pleasure, and yes, you did moan. I grinned devilishly at her, but I'm fairly certain I'm the only one who heard you. She's stupefied, staring at me. I sit back in my chair and cross my ankle at my knee. My eyes don't leave hers as I take a long drink of my tea. So, are you going to tell me what's giving you so much pleasure? I linger on the last word. She snaps her knees together and gives me a serious look. A novel, a book I bought a couple of days ago at the bookstore across the street. Her voice still has a faint tremble. Something to read instead of textbooks. I needed a mental break. She seems to be defending herself. I understand. I nod toward her bag. It's good to find something to enjoy when you're stressed. Her lips curve into a half smile, hoping I'm sure that I am letting this go. But I can't. I just can't. My body awakens at just the thought of asking her the question that's on my tongue. My smile leaves as I lean toward her. At first, she only watches. Then, like a magnet, she leans in closer. Her hair falls forward, away from her breast. Did it arouse you? I whisper. Her mouth falls open, and it's as if I've set her flesh ablaze all over again. I don't smile at her. I don't want her to think I'm anything but serious. I'm not trying to be an ass. I really want her to admit that she was aroused simply by words on a page. I won't tell anyone, love. I'm really only jealous. I lean back in my chair, leaving her suspended in midair. She's like that for several seconds, and a sense of satisfaction drenches me. She's given me the answer I wanted without a word. She was hiding her book and thought no one would notice. Her downfall was she didn't notice me. She let her guard down, too caught up in a seductive story. She closes her lips and blinks before she sits up, clutching her bag. I should go. I stand up. No, don't. My voice sounds more commanding than I intended. I'll go. It's the least I can do. As I said, I'm sorry. Sorry? I did. I didn't mean in. I didn't mean to invade your personal time, and I certainly never meant to embarrass you. She stands up, moving closer to me. She's shorter than I had envisioned, only coming up to my chin. Um, I'm sorry I moaned, she said quietly. Arousal steers me. I take a deep breath. She smells intoxicating, a rich, sexy scent. I look deeply into her blue eyes. They're dark with a navy halo around each sparkling blue iris. I find myself moving closer to her until I'm breath from her ear. I'm not. Her breath catches, and I'm delighted with the effect my confessions is having on her. I hope I hear it again sometime. Good luck with your exams. I smile and slip around her across the room and out into the cold rain. It's pouring again, so I jog down the street and duck under an awning. I put my earbuds back in, and music floods my senses. I stand there a while, watching the door of the apothecary, but she doesn't leave. Did she sit back down and shamelessly start reading again? Did she seek out a private moment in the ladies' room? I'm terrible, but I love the thought of that. Sorry, yeah, I'm gonna have to have some peppermint. What do y'all think so far? That's just chapter one. Sexy, isn't it? I love it. Chapter 2, Drake. It's late morning on Wednesday, and I'm waiting on a crosswalk 2 blocks from the apothecary in hopes that she might be there. I have found any excuse to get tea at the apothecary each day and twice yesterday. I'm acting like a stalker, and that frustrates me. Seeing her again will either draw me to her even more or thrust me down to the reality that she is a college kid with little knowledge or experience of the world. Okay, peppermint's not good when I'm reading. Luckily, it's the soft kind and it chews quickly. This is so out of character for me, we probably have nothing in common. On the other hand, this is the most interesting thing to evolve in my life in a long time. Exams will be over soon, so I'm going to make this the last time I look for her. Then I won't let myself think about her again. At least that's what I'm telling myself. The tea shop isn't as crowded today, and I can actually hear the jazzy Christmas music filtering in through the speakers. I glance at the velvet chairs where we meet. They're empty. Where we met, they're empty, as if she would be right where I left her. I don't see her at all. My heart sinks. I'm being foolish. I've been on pins and needles for days over nothing but a small incident with a stranger. The moment is over and done. But those small incidents with strangers are so fascinating. And it seems like they stick with you longer than anything else. I love them. If I could have them often, which would mean I would have to leave my house, which I don't care to do, it would be awesome. I order my tea and find a table in the back corner. I take out my phone to check my emails. I'm sure my editor has sent more messages wanting to know the status of my work. I can't fucking write, so it's been on hold for several weeks and my deadline is looming. After scanning the emails and reading none of them, I decide to take some notes. I stare at the empty purple velvet chair and envision her there. I imagine it's our second encounter. What would I say to her? Finish your book? I chuckle. I'm such a smartass sometimes. Still, I start typing out my thoughts. I imagine her sitting there looking pissed at me with her hair up in a messy ponytail, her cheeks pink from the cold air. I like the image of her in a skirt and tights, though she would most likely be wearing jeans again, like every other girl her age. I want to see her in a bright blue sweater to match her eyes. I get lost in how we would banter, and I consider how I would make her blush again. Could I get her at could I get her to actually tell me what she was reading? It would be a worthy challenge. I like to imagine she'd spar with me and give me a run for my money. A soft voice pushes me out of my stream of consciousness. I can't stop thinking about how you said you wanted to hear me moan again. She's standing next to my table, letting out a shaky breath. I expect to see a smirk on her lips, but she appears very serious, almost mad. I soak in every detail like a sponge. Black fingerless gloves are on her hands, which are wrapped around a cup of tea. She's not wearing any nail polish on her short nails. Her auburn hair is loose and caught up in a very fuzzy scarf around her neck. I smile at her, so happy to see her that I want to laugh. I stretch out my hand as I slide off my stool. Have a seat. She unwraps the scarf from her neck so that it hangs over her shoulders. She's not wearing a coat, just a thick, loose gray sweater, a short black skirt, leggings, and ankle boots. She looks monochromatic, save for her hair and those bright blue eyes. Setting her cup on the table next to mine, she sits on the stool. She smiles at me, but her eyebrow is arched, giving the impression that she won't let this go. Yes, I did say that. She narrows her eyes at me. Why? I give her a wry smile. Because I meant it. I didn't want you to regret that I heard you moan. Her brow furrows slightly with confusion. If she's expecting me to be evasive, she's going to be disappointed. I guess that's what she's used to from guys closer to her age. I take a drink of my tea. What a bullshit thing to ask. If she finished the book? I tap the app on my screen, trashing my notes, and turn off my phone. The reality is actually better than my imagination. I would never have guessed that she would approach me first. She glances at the phone. Am I interrupting you this time? No, not at all. I was making some notes, but they are moot now. I'm throwing too many veiled comments at her without meaning to. I don't want to actually piss her off. I'm a writer. I was making a few notes about the details of a scene I was writing. Oh, she smiles. A writer. Why are your notes no longer relevant? Because you walked back into my life. She stares at me, unblinking. Before taking a drink of her tea, nervously, she pushes her hair behind her right ear, revealing a long, twisted silver earring and a crescent moon ear cuff. It's ornate and made of silver. The familiar shape intrigues me. I was embarrassed that I moaned out loud that you heard me. She runs her fingers through her hair and to the back of her neck. Then you said that and left. You just left. When I thought about it, I decided you were teasing me, being mean. She sits up straight. Actually, it made me mad. I take a deep breath. I need to remedy this situation. I offer my hand. Hi, my name is Drake. Her demeanor softens as she gently touches my hand. Ember. The second we touch, I feel euphoric. The flavors of innocence, curiosity, intrigue, and a touch of fear burst on my tongue. A dormant hunger awakens deep in my core. So much emotion in her all at once. It's an overload of taste and feelings. It's sweet and savory. I'm thrown out of my conscious mind to the warm, seductive place where every cell in my being is hyper aware and craving more. Why has it really been so long since I consumed such delicacies as this? Have I ever? I hold her hand and my eyes are forced closed by the deluge of emotions being transformed between us. I can't let her go, not just yet. A bit longer. Reluctantly, I open my eyes. Amber, is there a story behind your name? She releases her grip, so I let her hand go. She stares at her cup. My hair was a bit redder when I was born, and my dad said it was fiery red like the embers of a fire. I'm just thankful they didn't name me Ginger, Annie, or April. I swear every red-headed girl I know is named April. I think I've ever met a red-headed April. Her eyes stayed on her cup the entire time she was telling her story. Her gaze drifts up to look at me. So they named me Ember, but all my friends call me M. I let the sound of her name bounce around in my thoughts. Such an atypical name. I would never call you M. Confusion covers her face. Ember is a beautiful name. It's a shame to not call you by it. She blushes hard. She's rosy red and grinning as she looks down at her fingers. A lot of people think I say Amber, so it's easier than correcting them to just have them call me M. I've never understood why anyone would name a child after an ancient bug trap. She giggles. I agree. Her blush fades and she drinks her tea. I've avoided her question for long enough. Well, Ember, now that we know that we are no longer strangers, the Aprils that I know have all been dark headed. Yeah, black headed almost. My best friend in high school was April, and she was jet black. Um, well, Ember, now that we are no longer strangers, I apologize for just leaving you the other day. I meant what I said. I do hope I can hear you moan again. Her blush returns fiercely and her mouth drops open. I smile and lean toward her. Gently, I close her mouth by pushing up her chin. I could get addicted to touching her, the taste of her. It was a lovely sound. I understand your embarrassment, but I don't want you to suppress what you're feeling. She looks at her fingers and her hair falls forward around her face. As a writer, I was intrigued that you were so captivated by what you were reading. I lean back a bit. I want my words to inspire that type of captivation. She manages a small breath. She seems uncomfortable. Then you moaned, and I felt even more jealous and intrigued. I don't I don't think I should have been reading that book here. She pushes her hair behind her ear and glances at the chair she was sitting in at the time. I just couldn't bear to be at my apartment, and I love it here. I'm glad you were here, truly. I enjoyed your reaction, Ember. She shakes her head. Lesson learned. I won't do that again. She has yet to look me in the eyes since she introduced herself. I take her hand in mine and she finally looks up at me. Her pulse is throbbing. Ember, don't. You captivated me, and I've been here every day since looking for you. You have? Why? She breathes. I don't even know why. I had to see you again. She pulls her hand away and places them in her lap, looking down at them. She's retreating. I regret leaving it open ended like that. Drake. She whispers with a shaky breath, as if she's testing my name. Yes. I'm not mad at you anymore. I can't contain my smile. A warmth floods over me. Good. I can't bear you being angry with me. A small laugh escapes her lips as she relaxes. Everything suddenly feels awkward. She's glancing at the door. You aren't going to leave me now, are you? I ask. What do you mean? She looks me in the eyes. You appear to be planning your escape. I raised my finger toward the door. No, I wasn't. I was just thinking that I should go. I still have to finish packing for my brother before my brother arrives to take me home for the holiday break. She positions her cup between us on the table and stares at it as she gently taps it back and forth between her fingers. So you finished your exams? Fuck, she's leaving. When are you leaving? Tomorrow. And yes, I had my last exam this morning. She suddenly seemed shy and withdrawn. She must have used all of her nerve to approach me. He's supposed to be here really late tonight. We're leaving around noon tomorrow, so we'll get some driving in before the end of the day. Long trip? She smiles and blows out a breath. Yeah, I hate the trip, but he's taking me to his place in Chicago for a couple of days before we fly home to Wyoming, so that will help. Wyoming. That is a long trip. What brought you to the East Coast? She holds my gaze for a moment. The school, specifically the arts program, and I like the idea of being on the East Coast. I wanted to get away. I want to ask her more about her studies, her family, her life. When is she coming back? But I can tell she's on guard. Packing won't take your entire evening, will it? I hope not. She relaxes a bit more and runs her fingers through her hair, which has taken on a life of its own from the static and the dry air. I'm moving out of my apartment, so it's a bit more than just a suitcase to get me through the break. Got a new place for the spring semester? She rolls her eyes in frustration. No, I'm still looking for a room to rent for or someone looking for a roommate. I may have to come back a bit early if I can't find something while I'm home. Evan is going to rent me a storage unit on while I'm gone for Christmas break. I can't stay in a place I don't feel safe. Is it a bad location? What would be considered an unsafe neighborhood around here? The outlying neighborhoods are composed of grand antebellum homes under large oak trees, and all the apartment complexes have a modern edge. No, it's not that. My roommate, it's her boyfriend actually. He's there all the time and his friends come over. I don't know. I just get a bad vibe. They're always there drinking, smoking, and they are drugged sometimes. She seems to be a bit afraid to say too much. I see. Yeah, so tomorrow can't come soon enough. I know I need to pack, but to be honest, I don't want to be there even one more night. Just the opening I need. I take a slow drink of my tea. I have to approach this slowly, not come across as being too eager. She should be cautious. I'm still a stranger to her, but I want to see her again. How long do you think it will take you to finish packing? She looks up at me curiously with a slight smile on her lips. A few hours since I have to run some errands. If you like, we could meet here later, talk some more. You would have an excuse not to stay at your apartment. She takes a deep breath and looks around the shop. Then she looks at the clock on the wall. It's close to noon. Her eyes look into mine, considering. She smiles softly. Sure, I think I would like that. What time? I'm free, so you tell me what would work best for you. 7? 7 is good. If you like, we could walk down the street and get something to eat later as well. She doesn't answer. She glances at my phone. What's your number in case something comes up? In case she changes her mind? I hope not, I confess, but give her my number. She's quick to pull out her phone from her pocket, and her fingers work furiously over the screen. When she looks up and smiles at me, a familiar buzz wakes my phone. There's my number so you can put me in your contacts. But I don't even know your last name, Ember. She slides off the stool and smiles. Nor I yours. I chuckle. Knight. The spelling is a bit unusual. Knyghte. She smiles as she types it into her phone. Then she looks up at me. Logan. It's Ember Logan. She pushes her phone back into her pocket of her skirt. I'll be here at 7. See you then, Drake. Sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. She smiles. Let's see. She's out the door before I can catch my breath. A rush of cold air comes in, and I watch her disappear down the street. It takes me a minute to look at the messages she has sent me. Ember, thank you for saving me for the evening. Until 7, Ember Logan. The afternoon is dragging, and I find myself distracted by thoughts of her. So I text Parker to see if he wants to meet up at the gym. We spend the afternoon working on small agility drills and having a sparring session. We keep it low key and focus mainly on techniques since I only want to burn some of the energy from my anticipation of spending time with Ember. Oh my goodness, I'll be glad when all this stuff's clear. When I get home, I shower and change into a pair of jeans and a dark blue V-neck sweater with a white t-shirt underneath. The temperature's been dropping all day and the sky looks like snow. Ooh, they're not snow they're not snow worthy, but I'm still wearing my black leather military boots. My hair is still down, but it's already 6:30. I pull it back and tuck the ends under the collar of my coat before wrapping my scarf around my neck. The sidewalk is practically deserted, and I shove my hands in the pockets of my coat as I brace myself against the cold. I feel more relaxed after working out, but I'm still excited. It's a new and strange feeling for me. My breath fogs around me, so I sink my face down into my scarf. It's so fucking cold. We may have to get a taxi to dinner. On the other hand, walking might give me an excuse to warm her up, to touch her again. Halfway to the apothecary, it starts to snow big, feathery flakes, and I hope she doesn't have to walk too far in this cold. Maybe I should have offered to pick her up. I fish my phone out of my pocket. There's no message from her. At least she hasn't decided to cancel. She's from Wyoming, so this weather probably doesn't faze her much. I'm so used to everyone here hiding out in their homes at the first sign of snow, but I love being out in it. Not me. I need to hibernate. I'm telling you. The snow paints the landscape into someplace new, and the silence is like no other quiet. The glow of the lights streaming from the windows of the apothecary onto the street sends a pulse through me. Once I'm inside, the warmth eases the sting of cold on my cheeks. My hair has partially freeze dried in the bitter air. I unbutton my coat and pull my hair out over my scarf, running my fingers through it. I can feel myself thawing in the warm cinnamon aroma of the shop. I scan the room. She's there in one of the velvet chairs. I smile at her and blow my breath in my cupped hands. She smiles and it's beautiful and sweet. My heart skips a beat. I think she might actually be excited to see me. I walk over slowly, desperately trying to warm my fingers. Ember. I give her my best grin and pull my scarf from around my neck. Did you want to get some tea? She asked. I can save your seat. Ah, she doesn't have any tea either. I hadn't considered it, to be honest. Might warm me up, though. How about you? What would you like? Oh, you don't have to, she blushes. I insist, Amber. What would you like? She purses her lips together. Sorry, y'all. Glancing up at the menu board over the counter. Rose black with cream, please. I hang my jacket and scarf on the back of the chair. Walking to the front of the shop, I make sure not to look back at her. She's caught me off guard. I was trying to be here first. Instead, I found her in one of those chairs where we first met. I can't help but think I can't help but think she sat there on purpose. Once our tea is ready, I add some sugar and she meets me at the counter to do the same. Thank you for the tea. She takes a long drink before returning to her chair. No problem. She's wearing the same short black skirt, tights, and leather ankle boots, but she's changed from the baggy sweater to a tailored light blue blouse. The top two buttons are open and a hint of flesh peeks from under her fuzzy scarf. The blue of her shirt complements her eyes. Her hair seems more vivid and softer. The static from this morning is gone, and it's lying in soft waves and curls around her face and shoulders. Did you have the time you needed to pack? I sat down across from her, content to let the tea warm my fingers through the cup. Yes, all done. It helped to have some motivation. And what would that be? She sighs and smiles. Coming to see you, so thank you. My pleasure. Satisfaction warms me. Oh, that reminds me. When I was packing, I found it. She sets her tea on the table and rummages through her bag on the floor at her feet. She extends her hand to me. What's this? I set my cup down next to hers. She waves and brook in front of me. For you. I thought you could borrow it while I'm gone. I extend my hand underneath hers and stroke her skin from her wrist to her fingertips. This time, I'm prepared for the surge of emotions that meets my touch. She's happy and anxious, and there is sensuality in her feelings. There's no fear this time. The flavors are beautiful, and my mouth water for more. I allow myself to explore her thoughts and find that she's thought of me several times since this morning. Her heart is light, and there is a trembling in her core. She thought about my face, and she's thinking about my eyes as I touch her. The book slides into my hand, and the rush of thought ceases much too quickly. She's looking into my eyes, and her lips are slightly parted. Her smile is gone. I raise an eyebrow, trying to decipher what she's thinking, now that my flesh is no longer in contact with hers. We're both still for a moment. The book in my extended hand has, in my extended hand as hers slowly retracts to her lap. Do you feel that? She's a bit breathless and cautious. If she only knew that I feel when I touch her. Yeah, yes, it's the same as this morning. She nods and lightly touches her fingertips to her lips. Yes, the same. She whispers, "What is that?" I smile at her. She's not ready for me to answer that question. I've been shamelessly bold, allowing myself to feed on her emotions and explore her thoughts each time we touch. Still, I'm surprised that she seems to feel it. What is this? The book feels worn and well read. I read the title, My Place, My Places in Between. Oh, wait. Still, I'm surprised she seems to feel it. What is this? The book feels worn and well read. I read the title aloud. My places in between. Yes. Ember returns to the present moment. It's the book, the one I was reading when the one that caused you to moan. She smiles and lifts her finger from her lap and touches it to the air. That would be the one. I know the book. I knew the writer. I haven't the heart to confess that to her. You wanted to know what I was reading, what captivated me. If you read it, you might understand. She looks nervous. I do understand. I know why it captivated her, because it did the same to me. It changed my viewpoint on what women could want. It's the story of a woman, the youngest daughter of a very strict traditional family in Victorian London. In a culture that's already oppressive to women, she meets a forward thinking man who does not share her family's social status. His intelligence and ability to work with his hands intrigue her. Caught by her innocence, he introduces her to pleasure, sex, and bondage. There you go, Nina. She's madly in love with him, and he sets her free not only sexually but from the oppression of her family and society. My eyes search Ember's. She wants to share this with me so I can understand what she connected with between the pages. She wants me to discover more about her. Are you sure you don't mind if I borrow it? I ask. Yes, I'm sure. She's breathless. I am captivated and thrown off course by her revelation. I had expected the book to be cheap romance novel, but this was weight and depth. This has weight and depth. I can't give away that I've read it and that I already understand so much more about her. I flipped through the pages with my thumb. It's been years, but I remember the impression it made on me. I smile at her gently. Then I'll read it while you're gone. May I text you or call you sometime? You could tell me which chapters you like the most. She seems unprepared for my question. I'll let you decide, but I promise to respond if you do. She must fear I'll be deterred by the subject matter of the book. I'm stunned she's sharing it with a stranger. What she is, would she if it were anyone else but me. I caress the cover of the book. Thank you, Ember. She eases back into her chair. I hope it moves you like it has me. I put the book inside the pocket of my coat. I'm sure it will. I know it will. It already has. Just the act of her sharing it with me has moved me all over again, perhaps even more profoundly. Are you warmer? She asked. Her quick change of subject catches me off guard. Yes, I'm much warmer now. I finally drank some of my tea. I should try to put her at ease and return to where we were before she handed me the book. But there's a delicious tension hanging between us. You seem to love to read. I love it. The way a book can make me feel. It's addicting. She's glowing and her eyes are dancing. I know what you mean. I love to read as well. Oh, you must. You said you were a writer. She remembered. That's right. What types of books? Fiction. Modern, historical, fantasy, suspense, romance. Now I'm uncomfortable. Guess you'll have to figure that out. What are some of the titles? Would I recognize them? I run my fingers through my hair and put my ankle on my knee. I'd really rather not. You don't like talking about your work? I lean back and rub the back of my neck, looking up at the ceiling and then at the painting from some starving artist that's over our table. Why not? She asked. I just don't. I take a long drink of my tea. I need the topic to change. I wish I hadn't told her so quickly. I know where this is going, and heaven forbid she actually read any of my books. I do not want to talk about my motivation or inspiration with anyone. It's fine, she softly says. I don't know who that is. Um, we. It's fine, she says softly. We don't have to talk about it. I look at her with brow furrowed. In my years, no one has ever given up so easily. Real? Really? I ask her hesitantly. Sure. I don't want to make you discuss something that is obviously very personal and private to you. It is. I can't help pouring my words and emotions onto the page, but I can't feel comfortable discussing why or how it's supposed to affect others. She smiles at me. I get that. I won't ask again. I take a deep breath. Thank you. But I can't say I'm not curious. I really don't mind if you read them. I just don't want to have my brain picked about them. Well, in that case, maybe I'll read them all while I'm on break. She's teasing me now. I smile. Good luck with that. Really? That many? She makes me blush, and my confidence flies out the window into the falling snow. Maybe. You are an enigma, Drake. She giggles, and I can't help but chuckle. Please don't tell me if you read any of them. She has a sly grin as she sips her tea. Hell, she's going to look them up the first chance she gets. I'm not sure I'm interested anymore if they are that bad, she laughs. Her phone rings, and I'm thankful for the interruption. This conversation needs to be shut down. Hello? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Who? Oh. Her voice shifts and the mood falls heavy. Her brows furrows. Evan Logan? Yes, he's my brother. Her face softens as color drains from her rapidly. Her lips part and her breath catches. I sit up on the edge of my chair as her eyes grow wider, empty, distance. Amber, is everything all right? She blinks and shifts her lifeless eyes to me, and the phone falls from her hand. Her breathing has turned into short gasps. She reaches out to me, and I take her hand as I grab her phone. Hello, who is this? She's leaning toward me as if she has lost her strength. Ms. Logan, a man's voice responds. She dropped her phone. Who is this? I kneel in front of Ember and she leans against me, putting her head on my shoulder. This is Officer Richards, Ms. Logan's brother, Evan. Yes, he's been in an accident. Where? Which hospital? I'll bring her. Sir, he's not. He didn't survive. My heart drops and I hang up the phone and wrap my arms around Ember. She's still and cold. Breathe, Ember. I got you. I put her onto my lap as I ease back into my chair. We say nothing. She's so quiet and still. It's as if the entire world is spinning around us, but time has stopped in the corner of the tea shop. I slide my fingers over her icy hand. The raw sting of shock and utter sadness knocks my emotions into the pit of my stomach. Her thoughts are a jumble of memories, the sound of the officer's voice echoing over and over and screaming from deep inside her heart. Shh, stay with me, love. Are you here with me, Amber? I, I don't know, she breathes. Am I in a nightmare? Yes, just stay with me, okay? She nods slightly and pulls herself into a fetal position in my lap. I press my palm against her cold cheek and close my eyes. I let her emotions flood into me and they choke me with the taste of iron. It's unbearable, but it will ease her, comfort her. If I can take some of this pain from her, I will. She remains still as a rock as I rock her gently. I kiss her forehead, and with the increased connection, her pain surges into me. Her heart is breaking, falling apart piece by piece. The feeling is agonizing. I want to remove the pain from her completely, but I can't remove the death of her brother. She's starting to tremble. I need to get her out of here. At some point, reality is going to hit her with full force, and she doesn't need to share that with the world. Ember, silence. Ember, nothing. Ember, are you with me? She nods. Can you say my name so I know you're with me? Drake. She her voice cracks. Good. I stroke her hair. Let's leave here, all right? She nods. I can take you home. No, please. Not there. Shh. I know you don't want to be there. Where do you want me to take you? A friend? Do you have family nearby? She slaps her hand to my chest. With you. Please don't leave me. I won't, I promise. I kiss her forehead. I can take you to my apartment, but I live alone. I promise you can trust me, Ember. Please, she whimpers. I take out my phone. Barker, I need you to pick me up at the apothecary on Franklin immediately. On my way. He hangs up. It should only take him a few minutes if I can just hold her together until we get to my place. Breathe, love. I have someone coming to pick us up. Do you think you can sit up and let me help you into your coat? She nods and slowly sits up. By the time I get both of us into our coats, Parker has parked on the street out front. I gather her up into my arms and carry her out into the falling snow. Parker opens the door and I climb in the back with her. He doesn't bother with questions. He takes us to my apartment in silence. Once there, he follows me to the apartment and holds the door as I bring her in and set her down on the sofa in the dark. I slide my coat and scarf off and let them fall on the chair. I switch on the lamp and Ember hides her face against her arm. She sinks into the sofa, pulling her body into a tight ball. I move to the kitchen and find a glass in the cabinet. Parker appears as I switch on lights over the counter. Is she gonna be all right? I hope so. At this moment, I'm unsure. If you need anything, call. Thank you, Parker. I may. I simply don't know at this point. I'll lock the door behind me, he says, and he leaves. I fill the glass with cold water. When I go back out into the living room, I switch off the lamp and Ember removes her arm from her face. Drink some water, Ember. She takes the glass and drinks a small sip before sliding back into the sofa. Gently, I tie the scarf around her neck, slide it off her shoulders, and lay it on the sofa table behind her. I take the glass of water from her as well. She lets me help her out of her coat, and I toss it on the chair with mine. I sit down next to her on the sofa, and her knees press against my thigh. Her As my eyes adjust to the darkness, I can see the snow falling on the trees outside. The woods look still, dark, and light at the same time. The air is full of snow. Ember's fingers walk across my chest, feeling their way over my body. She sinks against me, threading her legs over in between mine. Embrace her, and she lets out a long, shaky breath. Touching her has become painful, and my stomach lurches at the taste of blood. Blood invades my senses once again. I feel better when you touch me. Somehow it doesn't hurt as bad. I know. There's no reason to pretend. Can you make it go away? She pleads with a small voice. If only it were that simple. I swallow her emotions and kiss her forehead. I'm here and I can make it better. Touch me all you want if it makes you feel better. She's silent, but she melts into me. She smells warm, like autumn and amaretto, but her skin is still like ice. I just wish she wasn't so cold. Do you want me to find you a blanket to keep you warm? You're warm, but you're not. She says something, and I hold her in the silent darkness. The only sound is her shallow breathing. Drake? Yes, love. Can I lie down in a bed? Yes, but I only have one, and it's mine. You're welcome to it. Are you all right with that? She nods. I pull her into my arms and carry her to my bed. I set her down on her feet and pull back the covers, and she pushes her boots off and climbs inside. Pulling the covers over her, I kiss her forehead. If you need anything, I'll be on the sofa. The bathroom is there. I point to the door. No, she breathes. I kneel down next to the bed, stroking her hair. No, what? Please stay with me. She scoots across the bed and pulls back the covers. Amber, I have so many reasons why she shouldn't want this, but I can't find the words to convince her otherwise. Please don't stop touching me. If you do, I think I'll suffocate or fall into 1,000 pieces. She starts to panic. Shh. Standing up, kick off my boots. I push my socks off and pull my sweater over my head. I leave them in a pile on the floor with her boots and climb in next to her. She rolls over, facing the windows. I want to lie here with you and watch it snow. Please don't leave me. I wrap my arms around her and pull her back against my chest. Lightly, I kiss her ear. I'm here, Amber. I'm right here. I won't leave you. Oh my gosh! Yes! So, I think I saw prices or something. Okay, it's also on KU. So, yeah, go get it. 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 It's so good. I might read this the rest of the day, and I got birds to feed. Alrighty, y'all. Come back Tuesday. I don't even know what I got going on Tuesday. I was doing good to remember this one. So, Apothecary Tea, a contemporary paranormal romance. I didn't tell you guys it was paranormal, did I? I guess you figured that out. So, yeah. Go get it. Yay! Frankie liked it too. All right, everybody. Thank you for letting me read it. Thank you for bearing with me. And I will talk to you guys on Tuesday. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Happy reading, everybody.